What's up, fellow gamers? Welcome back to Let's Play Seven Nights Flashpoint. It is time for the truck job. This is a partially complete story mission where we are boosting Taylor Stryzek, the biotech researcher, from her company. The part one here that is in the game is destroying traces of her research so that she can take it with her when she tries to leave the company. She's paying us to get her out. I'm interested to see where the storyline goes long term as the game nears full release, but either way, we've got a truck to hack. So it's inbound, coming through the highway. It'll be here soon. It will arrive at the start of next turn. It's going to be a foot race. And it's going to pass through there initially. And it will pass there at the start of turn 5, so we have to be in position within the end of turn 4. If we hack this matrix host, we can up the bridge. That bridge will allow us to get there. Otherwise, we got to get here at the start of turn 7, because we have 2 extra turns to make it there. And once it's been delivered, we'll be okay and be ready to leave. So the interesting thing is, right, this is not that far away. This is obviously quite a bit farther. Like, if we barely fail this, getting here in 2 turns is going to be quite difficult. Also means we have to cover less ground, so any guards here can be safely ignored. Always a plus, of course. Anyway, we did buy a little bit of leverage, so we got, so story missions you can't buy the Matrix Snoop on, so I can't full reveal the node for 10k, which is very strong and highly recommended. But we can at least buy this and lower enemy armor by 25% multiplicatively, which means this 40 armor becomes 30 armor, which means we do 17% more damage, which is, you know, pretty good, right? Otherwise, though, we can also pop this and we can at least see the security like control nodes, which is good because we need to use a security node to open, like, to make this bridge, you know, to raise the bridge. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. Anyway, since we're going to advance forward here, I know we're going to tactical surge. I know we're going to pop the, you know, initial buffs here. We're going to turn off this camera. Probably want to turn off that camera as well if we can help it. Depends on some of our requirements, but generally speaking, going to be a good idea. I think we can wait on throwing JTAC until we see where all the guards go. We should have enough initiative to make that functional. Let's hope that's true. In fact, because we're all going at 12, I am in fact going to not pop coordinated charge until these guys all have their turn. That way we don't pop this guy back up to 14 and make him yield back down to 4, and then he can never kind of go before the team. So I want to know where these guys all end up so that I can throw down JTAC and or Strike Zone and use that to properly aim at as many people as possible. So we'll let our Cyberknight essentially go last. No reason to look ahead here just yet. That's fine. These guys can kind of waste their turn. So these guys are patrolling away, but they're not going to stay away. Patrols are always cyclical. Okay, so you can fully wait. We could go for a brief yield, but I think just throwing JTAC around here is functional. I happen to know where some of the guard positions are because I played this mission probably 6 times or so, so I know a lot of the stuff here. As much as there are a lot of guards here that are worth killing, my recollection of the mission is that it is worth waiting and saving Strike Zone for a different point in time. So that's what's going to be happening here. I'm going to yield. I'm going to let this guy pop coordinated charge. And he's my best initial gunner, so I think him throwing down bullets at the very start is reasonably correct. The one tough thing is the gun is loud. There's not really a great way around that. So the gun actual radius of noise is like 40 meters. Yeah, that's a lot. Basically, I mean, that's 48. So if we, you know, go here, which is, yeah, I mean, even if we're like standing there, anyone on that bridge is going to hear it. So going full auto is going to be a bit of a problem. I could try to stand back somewhere like this. That would allow me to, like, maybe shoot these guys without the gunshots being heard. Obviously, I want to be inside JTAC if possible. I also want to have the action points up, so I'm going to try this as the opener. I know he's going to hear the gunfire for sure. Wait, is he not actually? Is it really just these 4? He is... No, he's 36 meters away, right? Isn't this gun... Yeah, this gun has a noise radius of 40. He for sure hears... Okay, there we go. We switched now. It's at 5. Okay, now if I think we can kill all 5 of these guys, right, then it's fine. We can just kind of unload here, get some pretty good damage. I can do a lot of shooting here. Pop Iron Grip, hit the recoil benefit, keep going. And as long as he's the only guy who's going to hear it, which might be true, then it's kind of worth it. I think I'm going to say let's go for it. I am J-tacked. I do have crit chance here. They should go really hard. Pretty good damage initially. That guy here's a gunfire, which is expected. I maybe should have thrown down marker sites. In fact, I'll throw it down on at least one of these guys because I'll be getting the cooldown back at some point anyway. The one downside is I don't have a great way of lining this up really beautifully. I think I will end up aiming like this. The thing is that guy's getting hit twice kind of no matter what, and so it's like not ultra ideal, but it is what it is. So I'm going to run you up to here. We do have Savagery on right now. We got that first kill, so we've got a bunch of crit chance and a bunch of ballistic pure damage. So ideally, I mean, there's two options here, right? Like I can go single target with the assault rifle, which is probably optimal to be honest. That's got to be optimal here, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, the recoil is pretty huge, but we're still okay. I'm going to throw it on the other marker sites, actually. This seems probably correct. Boost the accuracy to a pretty good, and if we crit, he dies, not bad. So, of course, a lot of noise complaints, but we can probably clear this up. At least we can get close to clearing it up. So, first things first, let's put you somewhere a little bit useful where you can go full auto again. This might be a bit more difficult than it looks. Yeah, it's going to be hard finding a spot here, especially... Yeah, okay, he's just not fast enough. It's a minimum 3 AP, and... I mean, yeah, the only downside is here, there's a pretty good chance that, like, another guard hears the gunfire, but I think this is still probably the correct play. One thing I am willing to do is actually strike zone this area. Again, I actually know where some of the guards are, so I'm kind of cheating here, but... Yeah, you can see the green tint right there. I actually know there's a guard there. Hello. We know where you are. Of note, actually... Yeah, he's still not in gunshot ranges, barely. That's what it's telling me, anyway. Sadly, the full auto cone is not quite good enough, and so I can only get one of these guys at a time. That's too bad, but it is what it is. Yeah, he didn't turn, so he's definitely not hearing the gunfire, which means as long as we can get the rest of this done, we're actually in a really happy spot. Unfortunately... Oh, right, and then full auto is more accurate. But, yeah, this is going to be guaranteed glancing hit, so this is fine. Down you go. We actually get the crit anyway, so that's fine. And, of course, this guy's really far away, which means he's really not hittable. I have to go quite far to get this one in range, so... Unfortunately, we're getting a lot of tally from him here in gunfire. He's heard gunfire, what, 5 times? So he's reporting 10 tally worth. Yeah, it's a little rough. Marker sites is in range. I'm going to run up here, go for marker sites. He's going to see a corpse, but seeing corpse is way less bad than, you know, that many reports of gunfire, so... We'll marker sites you. That'll be half decent. And let's see what the Cyber Knight can do. And if she can't do enough, we'll have to send somebody else in, but... from here, you get 3 shots. That's probably not quite going to kill. I'm really tempted to go for the AR then as a result. We're going to have him report gunfire once. He's going to report gunfire once, and what? See a corpse? Reporting gunfire once is functional. I think that's okay. We can do that. So, this will be pretty good damage. Won't quite kill unless I crit. Okay, I crit, so I guess it kills. So, he's heard gunfire. What's interesting, actually, he might have turned to hear gunfire and not seen the corpse. Oh, you heard gunfire. Shoot, I didn't realize I was getting that close. Okay, well, that's a mistake. Did not think about that. Did not realize that was going to be happening here. I'm going to go ahead and yield to my hacker then and have him... He's going to run up to here. And I think it is in my best interest to actually waste 1 action point and hack this camera down. I might even do it twice. If I hack the camera twice, I get to down it for 4 turns. I'll have a lot fewer action points for starting the hack, though, and the thing is I have a ton of IO, so I think it's not correct. I think turning it off for now is fine, but I think for the rest of this, let's try to maximize what we can here. Also, turns out I probably should have cut the armor, as it turns out. So let's reveal node locations. Okay, so what I care about is here on the right-hand side. And we get, thankfully, only a yellow host. It's not too bad. But this layout tends to be really difficult. It's also always this host on this map because truck dispatcher, right? It's a story host. Connection host is probably going to be okay. Save the AP costs. Damage to connection, always a little bit annoying. Yeah, so the difficulty is this stuff here is relatively tough to deal with. I'm going to go for early zero interrupt. But there will probably be another kind of annoying node on the way, but I think this is still slightly better the way I'm doing it. Take the down look because I think it's relatively safe. Going for this is not worth it right now. I want to not take the risk right now. I'd rather save the AP. Protection health is not the end of the world. It's okay. I'm going to go ahead and, let's see. If I load Scapegoat, I can't leave. So what I'm just going to do is run up here and just double null op, and I'm just going to get a lot of escalation, and it is what it is. So that's all gone. Load scan, reveal it. This actually reveals all the ice nearby because it's already been pre-revealed. So you get a pretty fast route here, where this is going to turn on at the end of next turn. But I can at least hack this stuff down really easily during turn 2, and that'll be functional. I can also rewind myself and get these talents all back, well, aside from, I guess, Scapegoat. Whatever, I don't really care that much about Scapegoat. That's going to be worthwhile, though, to have things like Zero Interrupt back for another, like, annoying node. So I'm going to try to rewind myself. So you're done. I'm going to have to run you over to put that in range. Ooh, I have to run, actually run quite far to do that. That's too bad. Yeah, I think here won't quite be enough. Probably not, we'll see. Yeah, it doesn't reach. Okay, that's fine. I will just walk up to here, be clearly in range to rewind you. Give the hacker talents back. I didn't do the skill leveling on camera, but basically... what am I trying to say? Basically just learned rewind, and I'm putting off downer for later. I am against the actual talent cap, though, so I might unlearn something like Interference Spike to make room for downer. That's probably correct for me. But I need my Simstream trainer. Ah, crap. Orders received for 2 guards. And one of them is this guy over here, which is a mechanized infantry. That is unfortunate that there was enough of a scuffle herd that they're sending dangerous guards toward me. Well, truck spawns. Again, get to the bridge at the end of turn 4. Very doable. Hello, truck. So right here, if we did the 404X spike or bought one of the leverages, you can do a pre-game hack mission. You can also buy a leverage, both of which delay the truck by a turn. So you can make this happen at turn 6 instead. Didn't feel like I needed that, but it is a possibility. Oh, wait, did I? Oh, no, I did. Yeah, this guy's just not moving on his turn. Okay. His turn is do nothing, I guess. That's fine with me. We'll see what these guys end up doing, of course. The fact that you hear gunfire is not great, but it is what it is. You're chilling. This guy has his stuff back, so let's load the programs. Let's go here. Damage to Cyber Deck is fine with Deck Shield. I think we'll take the Protection Health instead because I'm already at 50. We go in this order, drop the remote controls, and then basically we can hack Bridge 1, we can hack Bridge 2, we can also raise his barrier if we don't have enough time. Like, if we didn't get forward progress, but we, like, you know, were able to start hacking, we could have raised his barrier and we would, like, save a turn. But all I really need is for the bridge to come up. So I'm going to do that. Bridge goes up. Beautiful. What an animation. Good job, buddy. And nothing else needed, so grats. I don't want to waste more time because the more time I'm stuck in the map, the harder the mission gets. Okay, so I think I have enough AP and enough ability to... Actually, I'm going to go ahead and recast Hardshell here. AP's getting a little bit tight, but it should be fine. This should still be knocked down. It is. Scan. It was a reroute trap. That's unfortunate. Ow. This is pretty bad. I'm just going to zero interrupt this because I'm in a rough spot here. Gotta knock these down. I think I'm going to have to disconnect relatively soon. So I got 25 AP, right? 2, 4, 6, 8. 4 to disable. Let's call it 10 to download. That'll be fine. We'll still get there. That's fine. I still have shield. Oh, I have to reload stuff. Okay. If you download... Okay, I have to get rid of both, unfortunately. Okay, all I'm going to get then is 1 download here. And I'm just not going to bother hacking anymore because I'm going to take cyberdeck damage. So next turn, I'll take this download and then just disconnect. Basically. Because I lost enough AP by having to reload this program and everything else. There is, like, CPU nodes, like, right here. There's usually downloads, like, here and here. But, like, a yellow host with a lot of SPUs is just very, very tough to deal with. SPUs are just very dangerous nodes because they have, you know, 1 to 2 active ice and almost always a trap. And with low-level programs, it's just not really realistic. If you have a better cyberdeck and you have things like Nuke, and you can, you know, use things like Scapegoat to block the, like, destruction of ice kind of slowing you down, they're not nearly as bad, and you can kind of get through it. Like, you nuke SPUs and you use normal conventional stuff for, like, the things with 2 nodes on them, 2 ice on them, but, like, at this stage, it's not really realistic. To be fair, I do have the money to actually buy a better cyberdeck, and I really should have done that. I just realized, like, at my base, I have, like, 700k, nothing to spend it on, and I'm like, oh, what do I spend money on? I'm, like, waiting for buildings to be done, whatever, and it's like, oh, I should have got a cyber deck and better programs. That was the actual right choice. So he didn't go very far. This guy is, yep, just standing still. So it is time for some forward progress. Ideally, don't get hurt by too many people. Looks like standing... Yeah, so I can stand right there, and then you're not quite in earshot. And if I go too far back, right, I don't have range. So it's, like, quite tight with the positioning here. I basically have to spend the extra AP running forward, but can only run so far forward. So it's, like, right there, right? That's what I've got. So I'll stand there, fine. Accuracy is not horrible, because ultimately, you know, the range comparison here is that max optimal is 28, and actual max range is 30, so I basically can't get penalized in max range here. But the question I basically have is, you know, do I single target reload and do nothing, or is it reload and then full auto? And I'm pretty sure the answer is definitely reload and then full auto. There's like no way that's not the right way to do this. Some really good damage here. He doesn't have savagery on anymore, but we've got a bunch of plus ballistic damage thanks to steamroll. We've still got a bunch of nice accuracy buffs, and just in general, this gun does good damage, and he has a bunch of pure damage upgrade, so pretty good stuff here. We shred first try. That's pretty sweet. We crit as well. He's down to 1 protection point. Oh yeah, I should have used the minus armor thing. I didn't. That was a mistake, but oh well. Too late now. I'm just going to run my Cyber Knight forward, I guess. And you're at 15, so I'm not too worried. I'm just going to go for a couple pistol shots here. This should be decent. Actually, hang on. Sniper. Let's get you somewhere decent. If you stand here, you'll step out and shoot at him. That's what the game is telling me, so I'm going to trust you. Full auto likely kills. Great. We are suddenly not getting a ton of tally every turn. We can reload safely as well, and then we can kind of just post up here. We'll try to figure out where exactly we want to stand, but actually might just stay behind cover then as a result, because all we're going to do is grab this bridge and then kind of leave. So I think chilling like this is very functional. And then you can just sprint onto the bridge. You don't have to go right away, but I have nothing else to do, so I'm just going to sprint to the bridge anyway. So yeah, we have to be there by the end of turn 4. We're here by the end of turn 2. I have really heavily learned this map. These enemies are... Let's see, what's their equivalent? So I did the math, and in terms of durability, the extra, like, 20-something% health I gave the enemy guards above Chrome. Chrome was 125%, but 145%. Mathematically, this is equivalent to 1.5 power levels in terms of durability. And so these guys are, you know, functionally power level 7.5. And yeah, you can do truck job in 2 turns in power level 7.5 with like roughly level 10 mercs. Of course, you have to like know a lot of the stuff, so it's like kind of unfair. Like I have functional map hacks for all these missions. Because I know there's always a captain right there, and I know there's, you know, a decent number of basic guards there. I know that there's mech infantry back there, which is very scary. So I, you know, just don't deal with those guys. So mech infantry is heading my way. That is obviously quite scary. We can inspect that in a second, but they are very tanky and have decent guns and have solid talents. So this guy, right, has 940 health, has 77% armor with 4 protection points. So you have to get 4 separate shred events. Good luck with that. Not the easiest. Anyway, sniper can chill. Can have this guy reload again. I could put him up here. I don't think there's a strong reason to do so. I think just staying back here is still fine. We will have to recast JTAC. We're not going to have strike zone for the armor reduction. That's going to be a little sad, but oh well. Take my single download. Disarm this so I can disconnect safely. I know that because I know the layout, I know this is an SPU as well, so having to go through this is going to be kind of annoying. 28 connection health. I think for now, actually, I can try. So what I'm going to do, actually, is load deception. Now that I can see where the traps are, I have like a slightly easier time of doing this. So what is the trap? If you exit, not a big deal. And this is 5 tally, so I can actually go this way and it's fine. Okay, connection health's getting kind of bad, so I've got a DC. I could like spend a few more action points like before this escalates again, but like why? So I can disconnect here. By reconnecting, I can get my connection health back. The question is, do I want it? I think I'm relatively safe where I am. The downside, though, is I don't have hard shell backup anymore. And the downside for that is I'm going to take cyber deck damage, which I don't want to do. And I think the downside is high enough that I don't want to bother, so I'm just going to stand here, be in cover, and if there's actual fights, I can patrol, cover them. This guy's patrolling back and forth. He's not useful. I'm going to go ahead and reload my assault rifle and just stay where I am. Doing a lot of yields in case one of these guys runs somewhere scary. Okay, they're not doing anything scary, so it's fine. That means I can safely end my turn on guy 1, guy 2, and guy 3. As well as gal 1. Probably seems reasonable to throw down look ahead here. I can't quite catch... Actually, I guess I should wait. Okay, we get an escalation. Is it scary? Is it not? Body timer is not a huge deal. They're mostly going to time up this turn anyway. We're close to it. So we are going to get a decent amount of tally. Truck runs forward. This is the last turn. If we had used the RCU thing to hit this, we would have paused it. So, again, they warn you if you're going to deliver the payload. Do it now. Do it during turn 4. Stand there. He is patrolling forward. He didn't see any new bodies, which is thankful, because that box is in the way. I don't see a reason to kill him, at least not yet. Let's see what this guy does. I think I can safely yield the rest of the team behind him in case we need to like throw down JTAC again for something. Also, strike zone next turn is good. So these guys can all safely wait. I'm going to save Tactical Surge for the turn we have to leave. There's no reason to get more AP when I don't have to, do anything yet. This turn is stand still. I can leave that camera. Where's the infantry going? You are hunting, so we'll see how far you go. Well, you can cut off the spot. We'll have to run past your vision, which could be scary. Yeah, still no reason to precast anything. You can end your turn. You can also end your turn. I could put you kind of like in the front corner. This will turn to yellow if I don't have it, so let's line up with like this exit right here. And, stand somewhere like this. A little bit farther up, I guess. We can put you like here. So it's blue, which means I'm good. I mean, I can safety save in case the game is lying to me. I doubt it will, but like, whatever. You can end your turn. You can end your turn. Escalation. Ooh, that is a very nasty escalation. I've never gotten the escalation here in any single time I've ever run this map. This mission specifically. So this just got a little bit dicey because this could definitely add up something very obnoxious. Thankfully, we are on the spot. The truck goes underneath. We hacked it. We have deleted the corpo data. The virus has been delivered. Well played. Time to get clear. And the team is inside of Tactical Surge. That's good. The thing I'm afraid of is if I run past your vision, you for sure see me and then go alert and then try to kill me next turn. Actually, sorry, during your turn. So I do actually want to delay and have you be useless. The problem is these guys are in way too scary of a spot, which means like we're not allowed to wait for this one, right? Like this needs to happen. So is there a... The answer is no. Is there a way to sneak past this guy without hoping he turns around? While, I mean, these guys can at least fight, right? And we can send them down to 13 initiative, which is thankfully ahead of these three, so we can still, like, wait for this entire crew to use their turn. I just don't want to alert this mechanized infantry if I can help it, such that we can do initiative manipulation and like get ahead of it on turn 6 and get out. Actually, one thing I needed to think about, and I forgot to think about, was could she have just simply made the sprint? So, one thing I want to try is it remotely reasonable to try to buff the Cyber Knight here? Because the thing I could have looked for was like, oh, if she ran, how close were we to making it out? I unfortunately don't know that answer anymore. Also, this is a really good leverage for cutting all their armor by 25%. Let's just do that now. But it's like, if I knew for sure that she was close, and it was like, actually, she would have gotten here without a buff, then like running back for coordinated charge for 25% move speed and 1 movement point would have made it happen. Because I don't have that answer, it's, a little bit too scary. Still gonna debuff all these guys, right? Still pretty clearly correct. So, minus 25% armor multiplicatively, minus evasion, easy crit chance, cool stuff there. This guy's gonna be annoying, but I think we can deal with it. Obviously, we want to JTAC the squad. We'll aim it more like this. We have a way to fight that guy if needed. And then I'm expecting the better target for strike zone to actually be these guys. We can, of course, aim a little bit forward because, they might move or something. But yeah, again, we're just going to kind of let the mech infantry waste his turn. Thankfully, he turned around. That is lucky. You are heading my way. You might actually see us. You might put us in Overwatch. No, you... Oh, yep, yep. Are you going to be able to fight? You might have AP still, actually. It's close. He might have AP. Okay, he doesn't. But now it means the fight has begun. We clearly need a battle now. Technically, the best opening salvo here is actually Raze because he has pure damage. So I'm going to yield to him. He doesn't have like higher armor shred chance, but while they still have a bunch of armor on them, right? You can see, obviously after reductions, 49% armor, 49 and 50, like they're all quite heavily armored. A lot of health on him as well. We can kind of check like what does this guy do? He throws stim canisters, so it heals people. But yeah, it's just basically shoot everyone to try to get bullets on all of them to try to get an armor shred. One downside of this, by the way, is it's going to pull attention from people. Which means they're going to really good crits at least. And actually, we popped Savagery, which is really good. So now I can Iron Grip, get a bit of my recoil back. And yeah, it's going to be some really solid damage. Yeah, really, really solid damage. So I can just run you forward now. Because that was loud, they all turned over. Now, thankfully, your vision cone is not quite long enough. We already knew you were alert, so that's not special. So yeah, how much could I have done it? That would have been close. I don't think I would have been willing to take that risk. I can't shoot you easily, but I actually don't have to care. As long as our initiative is better, this doesn't matter. So there's two considerations here for this initiative. And actually, let's see, you're over there. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm still going to run up like this. I think this is an appropriate mount, so yeah, you're suspicious, but you're not going to see anyone. I'm not worried about you getting anything special going on here. I'm worried about you a little bit. You're at 17, so I think I want to delay you with Interference Spike, and then wait, and whoever has the lowest roll gets buffed by Pre-Computed. And that should be actually very functional. Like, we can just leave this guy up. I don't care. You can yield. I'm going to go ahead and turn this camera off. Not that it really matters here, but... yeah, your armor hasn't been shredded a single time, so... full auto, kill you. Bye. Yeah, this guy's heard gunshots the entire time, so we don't get anything from killing him, really. I guess we get, like, the intruder reported thing. I just don't really care. So anyone that we can evac, we should. And then just make sure we go first on the initiative, and we're always going to be fine. So... yeah, we can go out here as well if we want to, but it means going through these guys. Like, you've also heard gunfire, and you're annoyed, so... you know, let's deal with them as little as we possibly can. That's a safe extract. You're running forward, but I don't really care. And then we already know that you're going first because you were level 22. So I will pre-compute myself. Even though I don't need it, I can throw it on look ahead and lower initiative by 2. Actually, you're going at 11. My min roll is 22, actually. So, yeah, I'm glad that I pre-computed here because my min roll is 22, and that's with a plus 8 here, right? So, we get it. Escalation. I don't really care. Fatalities reported. Okay. Escalation is it potty timers again? Matrix high alert. Cool. We're already out, so I don't care. Easy peasy. Yeah, she rolled a 23, so she pretty much min rolled, right? Which means her initiative was actually 15 without that buff. Which means, right, if we didn't... well, I guess we still would have gone ahead of him, but, like, the rest of these guys all could have gone. Like, there's a chance, you know, you run up here, see me put you in Overwatch, then life gets really hard. So, end of the day, though, we are chilling. We have enough move speed still, even though we weren't under coordinated charge. You're out. You're out. Mission complete. Good job, us. I will be honest, I have never played this where I go for the side of the map. I always go for the hacking because I always invest in a hacker, and also the mechanized infantry makes this fight a lot harder if you don't just, you know, quickly go through this. The game does, just in general, always does get easier if you're able to play stealthily. Like, those mech infantry never reached us, right? So it made it much easier. Okay, so, yeah. Stuff gets destroyed. We should plan for the boost, but she's like, hang on, I have to be careful now so we don't get suspicious, so we gotta wait. You can try to get her clear of Matsumoto, and then she'll be like, well, I'll tell you when it's time. For now, the storyline is on pause. So we get level 10 on more of our mercs. Solid stuff. We get a little bit of stuff from these downloads. Not a ton, right? Whatever. But hey, Taylor's a bit more powerful. Cool beans. And of course, welcome back to the base. So yeah, I've got a lot of money here. They recently made a change where contact trust level affects how much they pay. And so like running stuff for Diego and getting 27% more money, fully multiplicative with everything else, just means you actually have a lot. And actually one thing I realized in my difficulty settings here is that the mission payments affects what it exactly seems like, right? The base pay of missions as well as their secondary objectives. It also affects things you sell in the cold storage. So accounts, blueprints, and files are also all nerfed here. What it doesn't affect, though, is inventory sales. It doesn't affect what these are worth. And so every single time I get a drop and it's like an individual item, I get like an itemized smoke grenade or an itemized healing kit, that doesn't get reduced. I believe also the cred chips you get out of lockers don't get reduced. I've never actually tried to verify that, but it's always appeared to be true, so I've just went with it the entire time and just assumed it continued to be true. The other thing, though, that's a little bit funny is the other thing you could do, though, is instead you could say, oh, well, let me just increase the prices. The one slightly weird thing about increasing prices is, one, crafting prices do not actually increase. Even though there's a slider there, unless it saves the like modifier on that at a weird point in time. I've looked at crafts, put it at 50%, exit it out, put it at 150%, look at the craft, it didn't change. So this one doesn't actually do anything. But even beyond that, the game rounds down. And so, for example, putting in power wires costs 5k. If you play with 50% increased prices, it's 7k, so it's actually only 40% increased prices. Now, cryogenic cooling is evenly divisible by 2, and so do all these buildings. Like, these don't ever do anything weird, but it's like, I get 1k back on stuff like that. Or, if something would cost 35k, it only goes, up 17 instead of up 16 or 18 rather. So I'm like, oh, well, okay, let me just like lower mission payments then as the way that I can like get around that and not get more going on. Like, I'm basically part of what this let's play, this like version is trying to find a set of difficulties that like makes the game flow a bit nicer, and not nicer in terms of like easier, but like it's sort of like optimized for like what I enjoy and what I find fun. And so like I was trying to be like, oh, well, if I make less money, but like I don't have like these weird rounding errors. And in fact, to be fair, like there are actually missions that pay an odd amount of money. And so rounding down actually hurts me in the mission payments tab. Rounding down helps me in the prices tab, right? But unfortunately, mission payments 50% does not affect some of these sources of income, so I'm not getting half of everything. So the only way to do that like more fairly is increase the prices. But again, not everything is exactly an even number, and so the 50% increase doesn't always get you. And again, also crafting, it doesn't matter there. So, and like the thing is, if the slider went to 200%, I would do that, right? I'd be like, oh, everything's double price, great. There's no rounding errors. It's free, especially if it worked on crafting. Then I wouldn't mind doing that, as like a different version so that everything else can work fairly, because the rounding down stuff here for mission payments, right? If a file set sells for 17k, it now sells for 8k. But also if something sells for 1k, it still sells for 1k. It can't round down below 1. So like there aren't, like, again, unless I can make everything cost exactly double, that would solve all those issues. Because then it doesn't matter what else is tagged, but unfortunately that side doesn't go that far. I can ask them to do it. I'm sure it's not very hard on their side, whatever. Also, I'm like a fraction percent of players that is trying to play difficulties higher than Chrome. They shared data on like game starts fairly recently, and like 90, I think it's like well over half of all games start on easy and normal, and like under 10% start on brutal or Chrome, and I think it's like 3% start on Chrome, and I'm probably 10% of that 1% or that 3% or whatever, because I've just done so many Chrome starts. Either way, whatever. It's fun to talk about difficulty settings and whatnot and whatever. Anyway, yeah, so what is left to do except wait for these buildings to finally be done? It's still kind of a bit to go. We've still got this mission to run, which I think is worthwhile. It's a CPU spike. It is on a relatively new tile set, which is a cool thing. I think it's a pretty fun tile set overall. It specifically lacks a lot of tall walls, which is normally how I abuse guard AI, because if they literally can't shoot me, they have to waste their turn. And it makes it really easy for me to kind of be out of reach. Anyway, as I said, I had money to spend here, and so what I want to do, let me check one thing real quick, which is check out my wire ghosts. So let's sort by contact type, and we scroll down, and we only have one wire ghost, a potato. He's not close to limit break, but he's level 3 Cyberdex, level 2 programs. And he's pretty far from his next influence limit break. He's currently not offering me any missions. I don't have any legendary accounts to sell him, so let's just invest in buying the best Cyber deck we can because we have money to spend. Money to spend, and we might as well. So going to... What's funny is this actually has more AP boost here. This one just has, you know, IO and active memory. It also has less deck armor, which is kind of annoying, so it's kind of unfortunate this deck is not strictly better. I think... So, I mean, the really question is, like, legitimately, do I want 20 IO or 10 AP? Now, one consideration, actually, is the 240 vs 260 is, like, a real thought. The 400 is also a real thought. So, I know I talked about this in the last episode, I think, but if you look at programs, basically, I can fit Nuke barely, right? So I can go to scan 2, which is plus 40 over baseline, right? Let's do some quick math, because I haven't actually built out a plan here, and I'm kind of curious what's correct. So, okay. At a baseline, I'm spending 240 on my, like, one, two, three, my 4 normal programs, okay? I'm spending 240. So, if I want to add more stuff, I can go plus 40 with scan 2. I can go plus 80 with decoy. I would not bother with trace vector. I don't think I would bother with data filter either. Plus 8 armor is not as good as just having decoy online, because decoy is actively useful. Whereas data filter, like, actively kind of, I would say, kind of hampers you. Also, you can't even keep data filter loaded because it has a cooldown. So you can reload decoy as soon as it's taken away. So really, I can go plus 120, right? So I'm at 240. I can go plus 120, which is 360, right? Going decoy 1, scan 2 is plus 120, which means I'm at 360, right? And if I look at Cyberdex, this has 360. So the total active memory is fine. And considering that every program I load is a multiple of 40 IO, that's not true. So I take that back. Because the low programs are 60. They're not multiples of 40. Though I might not use the total memory, actually literally at all, until I get another program upgrade, which at some point I will, don't get me wrong. But I guess I would theoretically use the 20 IO in some cases. I could see that happening. Now, of course, I have also a bunch of plus IO from overclock. I have some plus IO from my head gear. I think all that's multiple to 40, though. The overclock might be 180. I guess to check. Ultimately, it just seems like, at the end of the day, plus IO plus memory seems kind of correct. Slightly over the plus armor plus action points. I'm not 100% sure that's true. And the thing is, I do have a lot of IO. But, so the thing is, like, this is cheaper. This is slightly more future-proof because I can get one more program upgrade when it eventually comes down the line. We'll just do it. I don't think it's really actually better. But I just have the money, so screw it. Is, like, kind of how I'm feeling here. And then also, actually, I probably should have stayed on the screen. But I'm going to go ahead and buy the new programs as well. So I'm going to buy Scan 2. I'm going to buy Decoy. And there will probably be a time and place where I can use Nuke appropriately. So I'm going to buy Nuke as well. Cost me quite a bit of money here, but that should be okay. Let's go to my good friend, the Hacker. I have unlocked Scapegoat. I'm going to path down here and unlock Spoof. At this point, a respec would be optimal to drop these 3 points and be able to grab something like Scapegoat third token, which is good alongside Nuke. Potentially could grab Overclock Duration, potentially could grab Null Op Damage. And again, it would just give me 2 points of tech instead of 2 points of reflex, which, yeah, I would rather have. Either way, we can go ahead and manage the Cyber deck and change it to the better one. So we can see the comparison. Yeah, plus 60 IO, plus 100 memory. We can load a level 5 program, which is useful because that's what some of these things are. So we equip you, and we see that... actually, I guess to be fair, like, none of this stuff is actually level 5 programs yet. But we can install our new stuff. We can move Scan up to the top. Scan 1 could be at the very bottom. We're not going to use it almost ever. Obviously, our max memory of 400 is not a lot. It's enough that we can hold Scan and Nuke. That is 360. We're done. We cannot hold Scan, Nuke, and Decoy. 180 plus 180 is 360. So we have this 40 memory just lying around doing kind of nothing. Even if, like, Disarm got dropped and Attack got loaded, that, I guess, to be fair, like, that 20 memory does matter, so that kind of lines up, but we have to lose a lot of our programs in order for Nuke to be held. That's the one downside, is Nuke is so hungry here that, we could try for Nuke heavy builds. I don't think it's really realistic this early on in the game, but it is a pretty good tool for dealing with things like CPUs and SPUs. Anyway, that is his setup done. As good as it can be right now. At a certain point, we could set him down for cyber surgery. There's not a lot more we can do, but technically, I believe this is available. We can replace this with a level 2 matrix link. It doesn't do a ton. It gives +1 tech and +5 matrix AP, which is functionally +6 matrix AP. And then it repairs 1 connection a turn, which occasionally can matter. Most hacks are only about 3 or 4 turns long, so it's 3 or 4 out of 100 connection. It's unlikely to be that useful, but I'm happy to have matrix AP and tech at some point when I can spend the 6 days in the 100k. But it's like, sure, I have very little else I can invest in, so we'll take the 6 matrix AP, whatever, it's fine. Yeah, so this is of course going to be our next mission. We do have a solo CPU spike available at some point. When our barracks is done, we can choose to hire the Scourge. This will be done in 2.5 days. It's going to be due in 5. We'll build our crafting bench. We'll eventually build the actual... I'm blinking, sorry. We'll eventually build the actual SimStream trainer so we can start retraining people. That'll be nice as well. But the squad, it's going to be the same squad in this mission. I can train the sniper. I guess I might as well. Yep, he's already done with this stuff. And so in the soldier tree, we're giving him the more supportive stuff. Maybe we shouldn't. I don't know. It's what I've been doing, though. Well, I don't think I need that many charges of marker sites. Actually, I probably should have done it at all. I think the soldier was doing enough already that we could have just been like, actually just go here and let the savagery be a bit slower. That probably would have been smarter. I probably didn't make the right choice, so let's just go here. Oh, I'm actually at my talent limit. That's right. Yeah, I think if I ever respec him, I will take off marker sites. So for now, I just have to go for stuff. We'll just take a marker sites charge. But yeah, we'll probably have him unlearn this so we can go savagery recoup. Oh, well. Oh, he also needs to... he needs to also unlearn skull shot because he's not using a sniper rifle. That would also free up some space. So one day I'll think of that. Again, when the building's actually done, we can do that. We've got some things to move around. Anyway, that will be the squad when the next mission is due. Our field up center doesn't have tokens, neither does hacking station. These are all worthy upgrades, but I just have more money than time, and I just can't get them all, where I want them to go. Because yeah, it turns out when trust payments increase your money in by 25%, there's only so many things to spend money on, and you can actually probably rush your crafting even a little bit sooner. There's a real world where other than truck job being very annoying without it, there's a real world where I would actually not buy hacking station because it's honestly kind of low value, and build nanofab on 4. And just be like nano scrubber into field ops into underworld, and then at PL3 put in nanofab, and then start slowly digging down here for trainer tokens, if even that. The amount of money coming in, especially if you're not playing on half money in, I think you could build nanofab on top 4. Now that assumes you're not taking any damage and you don't need like the triage clinic or something. But yeah, it feels fairly reasonable here. Anyway, random point. Of course, we're going to have quite a lot of downtime right now. Oh, actually, one more thing to point out that I forgot to bring up here. I want to wait, actually. So this is going to be due at some point where Henninger, who is the D Street cartel boss, has picked up our trail. And that means, this is potentially a thing that might need legwork, and I might want her for the legwork, for example. But turns out she picked up the trail from us doing loophole heist. And so that's going to be, we'll see what the repercussions are for that. Anyway, that'll end this episode. Next one will be running this mission and then cleaning out the rest of the timeline for a little bit. And, we'll see where we go from there. So thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.